Okay, so just to tell you a little bit more about me, I need to take you back to 2009. I'm sitting in my tiny Salon staff room up in Inverness in the Highlands of Scotland. I can hear the clock ticking on the wall, faint sound of a hairdryer coming from the salon floor, and he's sitting across from me in his crisp blue suit and his overgelled hair. And I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, you don't look a day over 19 years old, yet you have the future of my salon in your hands. And he looks up and he says, I'm sorry to tell you, Miss Sanderson, we can't take your business on. We can only sell businesses that are making profits. And your business isn't, it's worthless. I felt like screaming at him, what do you mean it's worthless? Like my divorce that I've gone through for this place, standing cutting hair, taking painkillers every 2 hours because my back pain was that excruciating me, and he's telling me that it was worthless. I'll see myself out, Miss Sanderson. Off he went. You see, it was 2009, and it was during the recession. And the reason I remember it was a Wednesday in May was because I didn't have enough to pay the payroll that Friday. I was 8 months pregnant, about to go on maternity leave, when my manager of 4 years, Ruth her name was, tall, thin, blonde hair, wore really high heels, cutting hair all day. I never knew quite how she managed to do it. Put your feet up, Caroline. Don't worry, I've got it all under control. And off she left one day with a stolen client list under her arm and went to rent a chair across the road. 8 months pregnant, child number 3 on the way, single parent, about to be a single parent to 3. So back in that room that day, I just completely broke down in that staff room that day. I completely broke down. The tears just couldn't stop. And I kind of got those, like the little voices in your head, the sort of good one and the good one and the bad one. It's like, Caroline, you're useless. You can't get anything right. Who do you think that you are that you thought you were going to make a success of this business? But Caroline, it's okay. It's a recession. You're not the only one. Times are tough just now. No, it's not, Caroline. It's your fault. You actually thought you were going to make a go of this business. Useless. But Caroline, come on, you can do it. Da, da, da. Anyone ever had that, or is that just me? Where you get that voices in your head? And then I asked myself one question that day that literally completely changed everything. In that day, in that staff room, one question that completely changed my life, and that was, Caroline, have you actually done everything that you can to actually make a proper go of this salon business? And that was when I realized that I hadn't. Whether it was fear of success, fear of failure, fear of getting myself out there, not having the right knowledge, whatever it was, I hadn't given it my best shot. So I decided there on that day that I was going to become the number 1 salon in my town. Bugger it, I'll be number 1 in Scotland at something. In fact, no, forget it, number 1 in the UK at something. So I set my goals and I thought, I'm going to do it, because if I'm going to walk away and if this is going to fail, I can do that. I don't mind doing that if I've given it my best shot. So you can walk away if you know, yep, I've given it my best shot, but I thought, I need to see what I'm truly capable of. And the sad thing is, that's what most people do as they're going through their lives, is they're not giving it their best shot. There's always more that we can give, yeah? So I decided I was going to give it my best shot that day. So I decided, I thought, right, I'm going to look around and I'm going to see what are other salons doing in my town. That was my first step. And they seem to have this thing called these 5 stars from the Good Salon Guide. And I thought, well, that's a good place to start. What is this 5 stars? How do I go about getting this? So I contacted the Good Salon Guide, and they had a list of things that you had to have to be able to get these 5 stars, which was team training. We were like, yeah, tick, we give really good team training. The service, yep, tick, we get that. The look of the salon, when I looked around, did it look like a 5-star salon? No, it didn't really, in honesty. Did we have a front of house? No, we never. We didn't even have a card machine? Nope. We were still doing the paper book. So the list of things that you kind of needed to have, and I thought, right, well, I'm just going to start by heading out there and doing what I've got to do. So I went to the bank, got a loan, refurbished the salon. My brother helped me, who's a joiner. He helped me refurbish the salon. We got our card machine. So basically we had this refurbishment. We had a computer system. We had a front of house. And we also we weren't doing creative work at the time. So we did some creative work, and the Good Salon Guide got us into magazines. That was the first time that we'd had any of our hair work in magazines. And by the way, we just did it locally with a local photographer and local models to start with, and got ourselves into some magazines through the Good Salon Guide. However, the phone started to ring, and we started to get busier. It just happens. You've done your refurbishment, you're getting out there, we got PR from the Good Salon Guide, that kind of stuff. But we still had one massive major issue. The location of our salon where we were is what I call it like a backstreet salon. So no footfall at all. Like if you go in the morning and you've got like an empty column, it stays an empty column. There's no passing trade at all. So it wasn't fast enough, and I thought, right, how am I going to solve this? And that was when I realized, hold on, I am following the wrong people. I don't want to be following. If I want to be better than, the number one in town, etc., why am I looking at what other salons in town are doing? I'm completely following the wrong people. At best, I'll maybe get to their level, if that makes sense. And that was when I realized that I needed, if I wasn't getting the footfall passing the salon, I needed the online traffic. I needed that online traffic. I needed to master, how do I get them through Google, social media, all that kind of stuff. So that was when I set about and I got my mentors. I realized I'd been following the wrong people, and I needed to learn from the best, from the absolute best, to be able to take their knowledge, bring it back to our industry, and adapt it to fit the salon. Top left, that's, me, of course, I'm there, yes. So at each side of me, you can write this down, by the way, guys, because you can follow, read their books, their blogs, any information that you can find from these guys, write their names down. So on my right-hand side up here is a guy called Dan Kennedy. Anything to do with marketing, Dan Kennedy is the guy, especially direct marketing. Literally what I mean is you send out something in marketing, but you're able to track it so you know what your return of investment is, okay? So Dan Kennedy. And to my left on this, a guy called Chris Cardell. Anything to do with Google, he's your guy. He's like the number one in the UK. He's just about to start running my Google campaigns for me. Top right here, definitely write this down, is called Matt Wilson. Matt Wilson, Einstein Marketer. Follow his blog, it's absolutely phenomenal. So Matt is actually my mentor, one of my mentors right now, who is probably the number one at Facebook marketing in the UK. Follow, honestly, and the stuff that he writes in his blogs, it's great quality stuff to read, so definitely follow Matt Wilson. What he's holding in his hand there, it's called a 2 Comma Club Award, and you only get that if you've created one single funnel online that makes $1 million, basically. So he kind of does the marketing for some of the biggest names out there, massive events that you see in the UK and abroad and stuff like that. He fills the events. Bottom left there, a guy called Andrew Reynolds. He was my first ever mentor, who basically taught me about information marketing. So when someone Googles and they're Googling something, let's just say, for example, where is your salon, Nicholas? Glasgow. So let's just say someone Googles balayage hair salon Glasgow. Boom, making sure that you're up number one kind of thing, or how to do this or how to do that. So he taught me a lot about Google stuff. In the middle here, Andy Harrington, mindset, NLP, that kind of thing, public speaking. And then on the right, John Assaraf. So if I was to say to you, have you ever heard of, read the book or watched the film The Secret? Law of Attraction, The Secret. Raise your hand nice and high just so I have a rough idea. Yeah, so there's quite a lot of you. So just so you know, this is why some people love this and this is why some people hate this, because a big part of what we're covering in all morning is all about mindset. Because I'm a firm believer that is what completely transformed my business, was getting this right. This is the foundation. Before I can have all the skills about marketing and great, you can be great at cutting hair, all that kind of stuff. This has to be right. This has to match the results that you want, if that makes sense. If you want to rise here, but this is saying that your inner story, oh, I'm not worthy of that, it's not going to happen. So a lot of what we do is mindset. And one of my favorite quotes from Dan Kennedy, take a look at what everyone else in your industry is doing, then do the complete opposite, and you'll probably be very successful. And that was what I started to do. What happens is, because everyone else in your industry is doing something, you assume that it must be the right way to do because everyone else is doing it. But everyone's making the same mistakes, but assuming that it's right because everyone else is doing it. Does that make sense? By 2011, so I told you that happened in 2009 in that room. By 2011, the INNA, that was the very first year that they ran, we won Scottish Hair Salon of the Year. By 2012, we had to expand into a salon twice the size of what we were in, because we had to accommodate an extra 2,000 clients in a year, and took in an extra on top of what we were already making. I think it was £134,000 because of the stuff that we started to learn how to do. We just went, the salon just exploded. And by 2013, I won Most Wanted Business Thinker. And I've won Scottish Hairdresser of the Year, other sort of stuff as well. But really, that was my kind of tick of something in the UK, because Most Wanted, like Creative Head, is it's the whole of the UK kind of thing. So that was my little ticks of Inverness, Scotland, UK kind of thing. And the point is, you're only one decision away from a totally different career, life, salon results, whatever it is, one decision away. I just made nothing magical happened in the staff room that day, apart from, I was like, hey, I'm just going to actually try. That was it. And I'm going to set out and I'm going to find how to do this. So that's enough about me. Now you know a bit about me. Let's talk about you, and let's talk about how I can share this stuff with you that you can start to get results as well. But something that I discovered was all the problems that I was having in the salon, we'll put this to the test, but they all fell under 4 categories. And these are the 4 things that everything seemed to fall under. Staff. Now that doesn't mean, I know that there's teams in here, that doesn't mean we're saying, oh, staff are rubbish and we can't get, it's even just finding the right staff, yes? Or, training staff, the changing laws around staff, all that kind of stuff. Make sense, guys, yeah? Time, someone mentioned time. So is there anybody that's trying to do everything? So all of a sudden you're like the bookkeeper, hat. Yes, you're the stylist, hat. Yes, you're the receptionist. In fact, you're an assistant sometimes, and then you're a cleaner, and then you're literally like, you would get sued if you gave that job description to someone else. But we do this ourselves. It's like we put this crazy amount of work pressure on us trying to do absolutely everything. So time is a big one. And profits, of course, making sure that you're pricing for profits. But also, mostly what we're going to talk about this morning is ourselves, that we get in our own way. Okay, so what I did was I created our own solution, if you like, which is our Super Salon Success System. And it covers 4 main areas is what we teach, okay? The first thing that we start with is mindset, because that's the absolute foundation. Without the foundation being there, having this in place, the other stuff won't last. So you might get a little blast where you're like, oh, I did this marketing thing and it's really cool and I got some money in. But then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I've got this bill in, so it's gone back out again. The mindset is the absolute foundation and building block. Then comes the marketing, because you've got to get the clients in the door. You need to know how to market. The people who are the busiest and making the most money are the best marketers. Even if they're not doing it themselves, they're hiring someone to do it for them. If not, I don't care how brilliant you are at doing hair or beauty, aesthetics, whatever it is that you're doing, you can be the best. And I know for a fact that most of the people in this room are absolutely phenomenal, if not the best at what they do. You wouldn't be here if not. So I know that. However, if nobody knows that you're there, how are you going to get the money in? How are you going to get busier? Where are the clients coming from? So marketing is next. Then comes management, because you start to get so busy, then you need help. If you're building the salon, you'll need management in place. And then comes maintenance, which is basically systems. So once you've got it all in place and it's working, a lot of it's automated, you can step back, watch everybody boom, 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 busy, 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 and you're not needed anymore.